Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie, I am the Introverted Reader, and today's video is actually another little episode in my little mini series that I'm doing here on this channel where I read popular romance authors' books for the very first time and we just sort of sit and have a wee discussion about them. I took notes and everything. I'm prepared. I've done my homework. So if you remember, I did Book Lovers by Emily Henry a while back, so I'm gonna put them together in a playlist, this video and the Emily Henry one, so I'll put a link for that in the description if you want to go and watch the Book Lovers video that I did. I'll try and keep this one a bit short because your girl's got a bit of a headache, but anyway, so as you can see by the title of this video, I read Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. Now, you're probably wondering, where is the book? I read them on my Kindle. I'm reading all romance books on my Kindle, so just so you know. Because romance novels for me, they're like, I'll read them once, and then I don't really plan on going back and rereading them again. And by the by, if you hear any noise, my niece and my sister are visiting, so, and they're very noisy people. Anyway. So Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I'm sure a lot of you already know about this book. You've seen it floating around. I'd seen it floating around as well. So basically, we're following our main character, Alexis. And she is, very well off to do. She is a doctor. She works in the ER. And the book starts off with her car driving into a ditch. She gets into a little bit of a car accident because she's driving home from a funeral and she accidentally swerves because a raccoon runs out in the middle of the road and she swerves and ends up in a ditch. And then this guy comes over and helps her and she notices he's really handsome and she's like, oh, hello, excuse me, who are you? And, he helps her out, gets her out the ditch or whatever. And then she ends up at the same bar that he likes to frequent. How convenient, I know, because she sort of gets trapped in this like wee small town, middle of nowhere. She lives in the city. So anyway, and then the two of them end up talking and they end up having a one-night stand and she thinks that's it. Things happen, she leaves, but she's all like, wow, he was really, really handsome. He was really nice. That sex was amazing. And she can't stop thinking about it and stuff. But then she's like, no, that was it. Because she's just gotten out of a relationship. She was with this other man for like 8 years, I want to say. It was a really long time. And she comes to find as well that said fella that she had the one-night stand with is younger than her. She is 37 and he is 28. Now, 37 is not old, obviously. But, we're talking about like her being with a 28-year-old, she's like, no, I couldn't possibly. Like, no, like, that is insane. I'm almost 40. He's not even 30 yet. That is ridiculous. No, absolutely not. So yeah, and so anyway, she gets back to her life as a doctor, and she's going through it with her ex. And I'll say this, her ex, Neil, can fully eat dirt. Fully eat dirt. Like, get your head fully in the dirt and eat it, ya bum. Anyway, the guy, so we cut back and forth from her to the guy that she hooked up with. His name is Daniel. And like I said, he lives in this really small town, middle of nowhere. And he's kind of like the guy in the town that does everything for everybody. He lives sort of in this renovated old Victorian house that he like rents out as like a B&B, like a hotel. It's been in his family for generations. His family basically funded this town. His lifeblood is in this town. And, he does all sorts of odd end jobs for everybody. And, the two of them definitely come from very, very different backgrounds. Like, he is just working class, blue collar, not a whole lot of money, but he gets by all right, and he's a really talented guy. Like, he's a really talented carpenter and everything. I love Daniel so much. Can I just say, he is such a wonderfully written character. I loved him so much. He was so nice and just so sweet. And he fosters a baby goat. He fostered a baby goat because his friend owns a petting zoo. And, you know, and his friend wasn't able to look after the baby because he's going through some stuff, and he's fostering this little baby goat, and it says, if that didn't sell you, I don't know what will. Frankly. Like, when I was reading this, I genuinely couldn't put it down. I could not put this book down. I had this book finished in maybe like 2-3 days because I genuinely could not stop. I was genuinely lying in my bed in the dark with my Kindle, which I haven't done in a really long time, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I was just lying in bed, scrolling through TikTok on my phone, and I was just like, do you know what? Let me just get my Kindle. Let me just read one more chapter before I act. No, I ended up reading 3. I ended up reading like 3 or 4. Like, I can't. So anyway, and we're with Daniel, and he's living his normal life, and he can't stop thinking about this woman. You know, he can't stop thinking about Alexis, and he's like, she was just so polished and perfect, and she left her shoe behind. Like, whenever she was escaping from his house, she accidentally stood in dog poop, and she left her shoe, and it was actually really funny. You know, a book that can make me laugh instantly gets high points from me. But anyway, so... And then they find out a little bit more about each other. He finds out that she is pretty well off, like I said. You know, she comes from a very well-to-do family. Her family basically run this hospital, and her parents, especially her dad, I can't. And, you know, I want to say as well, trigger warning in this book for emotional abuse and physical abuse as well, like domestic violence in relationships, because we find out that Alexis's ex, sorry, that's a lot of exes, the man that Alexis was with before, first off, he's older than her. He is like chief of surgery. Well, I don't even know what that means, but whatever. I gave up watching hospital programs years ago. But anyway, we find out that he is an emotionally abusive asshole. And the things that she, like, her talking about, like, how she would get up early before he was awake and put makeup on before he woke up. The things he would say to her. Like, she told this story to her friend about how he would tell her that she smelled bad. When she was always so good with her hygiene, he'd lean over and be all like, ew, did you shower today? Like, it got to the point where she actually went to the doctor to see if there was actually something medically wrong with her, because she was so sure that she didn't smell. But then he kept saying that she did. And this man, I can't. And then it turns out that, and like, she was just so used to it because she wanted to keep him, and her parents approved of him. And, you know, she thought that she, you know, manipulating her and gaslighting her into thinking that she was the problem. So again, all trigger warnings for that. Like, if you are sensitive to those sorts of topics, just be wary. It's not like, and the physical violence is not towards her. It's towards another character in the book. We find out that Daniel, the love interest's cousin, Liz, is married to the sheriff in town, and the sheriff is physically abusive towards her. Like, we don't really see anything like on page, but we do see her quite a bit with like maybe like bruises on her arm and stuff. So trigger warning for that, I suppose. And you know what as well, like as well, what was I gonna say? But again, nothing on page, so trigger warning for that if you're sensitive to those sorts of things. But the way Abby Jimenez did it, like Alexis reassuring Liz that, like, you are not the problem. You are not the problem at all. You're not the problem. It's not you. It's him. You don't need to fix yourself. Like, and I can help you. Like, and just the way she was like, listen, I relate to what you're going through. I understand. Like, from one victim to another. I thought that was so beautifully well done. And like Alexis and Daniel's relationship, again, the same with Book Lovers. I felt like this was like both of them, to me, yes, there is the romance in there. And yes, one of the main focal points of the story is the romance. But for me, both this and Book Lovers are more about these two people. They meet each other, and through meeting each other, they discover more about themselves and how to better themselves, you know, throughout the story. And like the way... Like, towards the end, whenever Alexis finally stood up to her dad, I was like, you go, girl. Because she realized the reason that she put up with Neil and his BS is because of her dad. because her dad and Neil are basically the same person. Like, her just standing up to him and being like, you are nothing but a sad old man, and you've lost both of your children. You'll never know your grandchildren. You'll never hold them in your arms and see them grow up to be the amazing people they're going to be in all this. Because her dad is just like, because like whenever they find out, like they keep pushing for her and Neil to get back together, and I just, like, why can't you just go to like couples counseling or something? Like, honestly, why do you have to be so dramatic? Like, maybe you're the problem. Like, he has to put up with you all the time, and it's like, like, people like that make me so angry. They make me so angry. Like, instead of being there for your daughter in her time of need and understanding that this man, like, her mom only tells her to put up with it because she goes through it with her own fucking husband. I can't. I can't. Don't even open that door around me, because that's a sensitive topic for me. But see, the thing is, what I love the most about this is Alexis standing up to her family and realizing, I deserve to be happy. I deserve to forge my own path in life. I deserve to be happy no matter what that is. And being with Daniel made her happy. And like Brie, her best friend Brie, can we talk? Like, Brie is the MVP, and I know that she has her own story as well, which I think is like the sort of sequel to this one, and I will definitely be picking that up, because Brie was the MVP of this story. She was like the fairy godmother making everything right, and I loved her so much. I loved Alexis so much. I love Daniel. Do you know what? That is 2 books thus far that I've read that center around small towns. Like, do I like my romances with small towns? Like, wow. Okay, like, person living in the big city, love interest in the small town, having to decide whether or not they want to give up everything in the big city to go live in the small town. And it's like, apparently I like that, because I've read 2 books now thus far that feature that. So I've talked your ear off for long enough, but you can tell I love this book. Like, 5 stars, if that is not clear already. Let me know if you've read this and what you thought. Let me know any other books like this that you think that I should check out, that I should include in this series. I have another book in mind for the next wee episode of this. I don't know when that's going to go up, because I am going to be going away on holiday next week. I leave next Sunday, so yeah, I think Tuesday will be the last video I do before I head off on my travels. But yeah, I've talked your ear off long enough. The playlist that I'm going to be putting together with these videos in it will be linked down in the description. Also, my Twitter, Instagram, and my TikTok. I have very important videos on my TikTok that relate to Palestine and the Congo, so please interact with them as much as you can. A like and a share goes a long way. Like this video if you enjoyed. Leave a comment, subscribe, do all the things. And I'll see you guys in my next video on Tuesday. Bye.